Welcome to Season 3, Episode 7 of the Film Bros Championship Podcast. I am Tim, and with me is my co-host, Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
Fuck them kids.
Fuck them kids. So we saw Soul Men.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
Aw. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I had such high hopes for this movie. A director who's done really good stuff. I mean, Undercover Brother alone.
Yeah.
I love that movie to death. But
Yeah.
The Best Man, Girls Trip, the guy's legit done some great stuff. He's also done some bad stuff, including this movie. And the writers, well, they did Intolerable Cruelty. And what was that other movie they did? That one with Tim Allen, like Big Trouble.
Oh.
Right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Jason Lee was there too, and a whole bunch of other great actors.
Isn't that like an intertwining story type thing as well, when that was kind of a big thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that one. Yeah. I liked it.
Right. They've also unfortunately done some movies that I'm like, oh, what happened there? Remember the Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence movie, Life? It's like,
Oh, yeah.
this should be funnier. This doesn't make any sense why it's not funnier.
It was like kind of builds to be a bigger thing, that movie, and it was real disappointing.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
didn't hit on all levels. I don't
I'm
know.
curious if I'm going to end up liking this movie more than you.
I think this is a fine movie.
It's not in my bottom.
It is my bottom. I think it's a fine movie as a movie. Like,
This is better than War Inc.
it's a better movie than War Inc.
Yeah, I'm also more entertained by this movie than Sex and the City.
Okay. This is a better movie than War Inc. for sure.
Yeah.
I just didn't really laugh a lot at all.
There's some moments I did. I have to say, but it really is resting on the cadence of them cursing and saying MF for this and MF for that, and sometimes the stuff just lands for me. I don't know. There's something about Bernie Mac too that that man is hilarious. And the way he says things is so good. I don't know.
I got so sad watching the whole thing. This is unfortunately like the last movie he made before he died.
Yeah.
But Isaac Hayes' last movie too. They died within like a day of each other. So
Wow.
screwed up.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's why they get the tribute at the end of the movie. But I got structural and character issues, may possibly even casting issues. I'm not sure exactly what happened here, but where it just didn't work.
Those
for
are
me.
fair. Yeah.
And I thought some of the jokes were just like lazy as hell. I'm like, really? God damn it.
Yeah, there's definitely some stuff that is by the numbers, and there's definitely some stuff that you're like, this just didn't work. None of this works. But yeah, I think it basically was like, he's really got to do a different move. It's kind of all he's got, It's like it just seemed to be that's what they had to do because nothing else was working in this movie.
Man.
But yeah, so this is your pick, so take it away.
Okay, Soul Men. It's about the backup singers in a 60s, 70s soul band, Marcus Hooks and The Real Deal. Marcus goes on a solo career in the late 70s, leaves them alone. And they all just break off and go into their own lives. Marcus becomes super hugely successful, but then he eventually dies, and the two backup singers get back together to go and sing at a tribute concert and try to bury the hatchet with all their old bitterness towards each other.
Right.
That's pretty much the movie.
Yep.
And sometimes there are jokes that work, and lots of times there are not.
Yeah. 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 Again, like, it's not going to be crazy high for me, but like, yeah, that's basically it. That's the gist.
So you got Floyd Henderson is played by the late great Bernie Mac.
Right.
And after The Real Deal breakup, he opens up a Hooters car wash, which is very successful.
Yeah.
30 years later, Floyd's business has been taken over by his nephew, and he's being put into the nicest and richest retirement community I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Just like
It's nice.
my dude's got his own McMansion to himself,
Yeah.
and he's super crusty and upset about it.
Yeah, because he's being put out to pasture.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like that. He seems to be, I'm just here to die, and there's this is it. There's nothing, there's no achievement to achieve or anything. You know what I mean? There's really not much here, and he doesn't seem to like golf.
Yeah. The prospect of as much golf as he wants and his choice of porn star neighbors to screw just does not do it for him.
Right.
And he's on the verge of committing suicide until he sees the news about Marcus's death. A thread, by the way, which never gets picked up again. His suicidal thoughts and tendencies.
Yeah, that's true. They do not touch upon it again. They never really have a closing thing to that storyline, right? He really wants to do the show, and then he eventually gets it. That's about it.
That's as much arc you get for Bernie Mac's character in this.
Yeah.
movie. You're like, what happened here? This doesn't make any sense. That's it. So the other half of the real deal is Lewis Hines, played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Right.
And during Lewis's time in the music business, he became a womanizing alcoholic and dope addict.
Right.
And after the band broke up,
loses his woman that he loved or whatever.
Yeah. And after the band broke up, his addictions led him to prison for trying to rob a bank with a fake gun. He claims not to remember anything from Watergate to when the Challenger blew up. But he's clean now, and he lives in a slum apartment, works as a mechanic, and basically is just waiting to die.
And pseudo has some anger issues, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
They kind of allude to it, but then they don't really go that much into that.
Yep. Once again, a thread that just never gets picked up any further than that.
Yeah.
It's all surface level stuff.
Right.
And we never dig any deeper. Between the two, I think Samuel Jackson seems to be the far superior singer and dancer and overall showman, which I'm not that surprised about. I'm not exactly...
There's times where Bernie Mac is okay, with singing wise at least.
I don't think he's ever bad. I'm just like, he's just like, that guy's really good. You're here.
I don't think Samuel Jackson was that great. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, it's not like it was bad either, but I'm like, oh, it's just Samuel Jackson's voice, isn't it? Wow, okay.
I think he's a good singer. I think he was a really smooth dancer.
I liked his moves. Yeah, I thought that was good.
But you see how like stiff Bernie is through all of this stuff. Like, huh, okay.
Well, they kind of played into that too. Like he had a hip replacement or something.
Right, but even
so
like in the
why
flashback
he's
when they're
pretty
doing like in the '60s show, they're doing the "I'm Your Puppet" thing.
Yeah,
you can see him just like doesn't really know what he's doing. It's weird, but like I don't know what Floyd brought to the band at all. At one point, Floyd claims he taught them both everything when he's angry, and Floyd's suicide attempt. This never gets acknowledged again, ever.
But you kind of get later too that it was what's the Samuel Jackson's character is the one that kind of wrote the bass lines or whatever, and did a lot of. It seemed like a lot of the instrumental stuff was him.
It seemed like Floyd played the piano, at least in one of them. But I think he claims he taught them how to play music and wrote songs, but I don't know. It's like
the other one. So he taught them, and then they went with it, and maybe became the more talented ones. I don't know.
Possibly. The inner workings of this band really never ever get delved into in the movie.
Yeah. Other than like saying like, John Legend's character, like they'll admit to him being a really good singer.
Yeah.
Boy could sing. You know that'll come back up. But other than that, yeah, it's a weird dynamic.
So the idea of two backup singers who don't get along, who travel across the country to go and sing at their former lead singer's high-profile funeral is a good one. But I think choosing to make them like an Abbott and Costello pairing robs a lot of the comedy here. They should be on equal footing. There shouldn't be like a straight guy and a pathetic guy, because Floyd always comes off as more pathetic in this.
Yeah.
Lewis, despite becoming... Lewis is a recovering addict in a dead-end job and parolee, and is clearly cooler and more talented than Floyd, and always has the upper hand over Floyd in any situation.
Sometimes. I mean, yeah, most of the time, yeah.
I can't think of one time where it's not. And like, why was Lewis the one who insisted on driving across country instead of flying? Is Lewis afraid of flying?
He says there's a line of dialogue saying he doesn't fly.
He just that's it. He just says he doesn't fly.
That's it.
I don't know
we
why.
Don't know why.
Yeah.
None of that's explained. But I mean, he also kind of does not divulge a lot of information, so you are like forced to learn some things about him later on. But
Right.
otherwise, he
Right, but in the context of the movie, it would have made more sense for Floyd to be insisting on driving since he sets up all the warm-up concerts they play on the way to the concert.
Yeah, and there is some kind of connection to this El Dorado car too, that never really gets explained or explored at all. Like
Mothership,
there's some comments about there being some history here, but otherwise not really much. They seem to almost try to do a Tommy Boy thing with the car, but it never quite lands.
Yeah, it gets beat up a little bit in this movie.
Yeah.
Like you said, not to the extent that David Spade's car in Tommy Boy does.
What'd you do?
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not sure if this was a script problem or a consequence of hiring Bernie Mac and Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, because Samuel L. Jackson will always just be that cool. Because he's Samuel L. Jackson. Like, it doesn't leave Bernie much else to do. It's like, well, I got to go the other way to find the comedy. And like I said, it bothered me. It's like,
I get it. Yeah, I think you would have more fun if he wasn't always being the pathetic one. That you're right. Throughout the movie, you're like, what are you kind of bringing to the table? Other than, I guess, you have a driver's license.
Like at one point, I wondered if like Floyd was like a self-hating, closeted gay person. Like because there's a couple of threads there. I'm like, huh, but. Nope, nothing there. There's nothing to Floyd other than like he was bored and suicidal because of his bored and depression.
Right.
Like that's it. Like Samuel Jackson got a bunch of different notes to play in this movie. He's got stuff to do. He's got an arc.
Right.
Stuff to overcome. But like Floyd is nothing. It's like he's just there to be like laughed at. Like
yeah, he's just a foil to him basically.
And I kind of hate that for Bernie Mac. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Bum me out.
I get it. You're not wrong. Surprisingly, I don't dock them too much because, again, it's still Bernie Mac, Samuel Jackson, and they're incredibly charismatic and likable throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Even if he's being the pathetic one way too much, it's just they ooze charisma all the time.
Yeah, no, their presences. I can't deny it. What did you give our heroes here, our main characters?
Hold on, I had the wrong thing up. There we go. Sorry, I had the wrong script up. I gave him a 3.
I gave him a 2.5, so we're not far off.
Yeah, not too far off. But yeah, I mean,
and like you said, it's just on the strength of like how great these actors were. Like,
they are very, very poorly written characters, and their arcs are, for the most part, are pretty bad. Floyd definitely more so. But again, the two of them are they're stars. They're great. And so they do a lot of heavy lifting of just their presence alone. Mm. So it's hard to dock them too much there.
Yeah, but as a consequence from all this, like I'm not like laughing out loud a lot, more like smiling like, oh, yeah. He said motherfucker in a most enjoyable way.
Yeah, basically. I mean, that's the gist of most of the humor here is just the cadence and the delivery of some lines sometimes just come off really funny. But it really is all it's got.
Mm. So I'll tell you about some of my favorite stuff where I actually laughed at.
Okay.
First small laugh was just seeing John Legend as Marcus Hooks in that George Clinton, David Bowie outfit when he went solo.
Yeah.
I would absolutely pay good money to hear John Legend perform Give Up the Funk. Just like, I want that so really bad.
Bummed out that we didn't get more of him, like actually doing stuff besides like clips.
Right.
Like it would have been really funny even if there was like he's in the beginning of the movie and then dies or something. You know what I mean? Like more than just clips or something like that. I thought it would have been funny just to see John Legend just be this kind of character. Especially
when he becomes like the giant
the
performer.
Over the topness.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not what you would expect from John Legend. And I wasn't expecting it at all, actually. I had so little knowledge of this movie that I was like, oh my gosh, John Legend.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Baby John Legend, too.
Yeah. And it's the
bastard looks exactly the same.
Yeah, the weird makeup that they tried to age him up is like, this doesn't work.
Oh, right? It's funny. It looks like a wax figure when he's in the coffin.
It really doesn't look good. I'm curious if it really was like a doll or something. But yeah, they try to age him up at parts, and like sometimes it's like they do too much and it just looks so fake, and then sometimes it's just like, hey, well, there's clearly an age gap here.
Let me ask you a quick question. How old did you catch how old Bernie Mac's character was in this movie, Floyd?
No.
Yeah, you only get it in one line of dialogue, and it's like 3/4 of the way through the movie. He's supposed to be playing a 67-year-old.
Yeah, Bernie Mac is not the same age there, right?
Bernie Mac died at 50 years old. He's probably 49 when he was making this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe 50.
So he's
I don't know how quick turnaround
younger.
was.
Like Samuel Jackson is definitely older.
Like a decade plus. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I did notice like this is a little weird because Bernie Mac is not as old.
And they didn't gray up his hair or anything too. So it's like confusing at times. Like when people are commenting how old Floyd is, I'm like, he looks like Bernie Mac. I don't know what you're talking about.
Pretty awesome for the age you're saying he is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the first big laugh of the movie, which there aren't many, is Floyd's Hooters car wash commercial.
Yes. Yes.
Don't forget about Super Soul Sunday with a full body wash. You're guaranteed a free rim job. Ooh wee baby. Come and get your rim job. Come on, get your rim job. Come and get your rim job.
Man, the face he puts on as he's saying the line is really awesome. And there's only really one other time that I can really remember where he gives a face to go with what he's saying that like nails the joke for me. And we can come back to earlier, but I just want to jump ahead because this connects. Is like later on in the movie where he's playing with Samuel Jackson's gun.
Oh,
on the side of the road.
Okay.
And then, Samuel Jackson's like, what are you doing with that gun or whatever? And he puts this face on where he goes, I think I see a coyote or something. Like, it made me laugh. Just the way he said it and the look on the face he gave. He gave these like big bug eyes, like, I'm going to go do something,
I don't know. I think at that point too, like this is where I was like getting really frustrated with the character with how pathetic he was. It's like,
yeah.
So, all right, let's have him accidentally shoot the gun already. He's already done it once in this movie. Let's do it for a second time.
Yep.
So,
yeah, that wasn't the part that was really funny. Besides, I thought again that what was the line? Not because we're kind of jumping ahead now, so I'm not in the right spot. But there was.
It's all your fault.
Is totally my fault. Yeah.
Come on, get your.
There was an NRA joke.
Right.
That was kind of funny from Samuel L. Jackson. It's an offensive line too. Yeah. It was yeah. But it was just funny in the cadence and things that he's saying it. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Not going to repeat it.
Thank you. So the funniest moment in the movie by far, once again, like this is all the first like 10 minutes that I'm talking about. Not Tim's thing. Tim's thing happened later. But in the first 10 minutes of the movie, we're on a really, really good streak and things are feeling good. And I laughed so damn hard at this. So Mike Epps plays his nephew.
Yes.
And he drops...
It's really sad he's gone for the rest of the movie.
Very sad.
Very sad. We needed more Mike Epps.
I agree. Floyd's nephew, Dwayne, has convinced Floyd to give the retirement committee a chance. And then he says... Come on in the house, say goodbye to Charlene and the kids. And Floyd's like, fuck them kids. And like the response again by Dwayne, like, fuck the kids? Yeah.
Come on, Uncle. Why are you doing? It was so funny.
But like the question, like, wait, really? Fuck the kids? It was so beautiful.
I did like too when they were driving and Bernie Mac's like watching the kids pick their noses.
Yeah, he's stuck in the back seat with the kids on the way to the retirement committee. He's very bitter about being there with the kids.
Yeah, the facial expressions there were pretty good too. But yeah, like almost that whole dialogue with him and Mike Epps was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's noticeable departure, and it's a bummer.
All downhill from here.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff with the golf, and although I did like when he's looking at the clock and it's really late at night, and he just goes down his pants and starts whacking off.
Yeah, right.
That kind of made me laugh. But yeah, other than that, it's I don't know what they were trying to do that was funny when he has sex with the neighbor. I don't like because it was rough, I guess, or that I don't really understand. Like it's like they were
Because
like
she was a larger woman, I guess that was the joke. I don't know. It wasn't funny.
I don't know it, but yeah, I feel like they were trying to show me like this is funny, right? And
I think it's like the fact that he's getting so
I don't get
little enjoyment out of it. Like he's not even enjoying this. Is really what the point of the whole thing was there.
I guess so, yeah.
But the next thing I want to talk about is the proctology exam.
Okay.
I rolled my eyes hella hard at this. I mean, it's the same joke from Fletch from like 20 years before.
Yeah, I mean, I like the one line is my sleep problem's not down there, a line delivery, but otherwise, yeah. Especially when he starts singing.
Yeah, instead of Moon
Is
River,
when
he does Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, which I was like,
Yeah.
all right, well, at least it's a different song. And then he went up a different octave when he got inserted into, and I was like, all right, well, that's better, but...
Yeah, I kind of rolled my eyes on that one.
Exactly. I'm just like, this is the kind of lazy stuff, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
I didn't smile or laugh again until the first concert. So
No,
the floor is yours.
I got some stuff. Yeah. Okay. No, I like the part where the doctor goes to shake his hand goodbye, and he just gives this long stare down at the doctor's hand because it's the same hand that went up there, and he eventually gives him the elbow bump. I thought was kind of funny, and they call back to that too later. But yeah. Samuel Jackson calling someone a goat fucker made me laugh. So again, it's just the line deliveries and stuff like that.
Was that to Borat's friend? His
Yes,
boss,
exactly.
his boss? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Which, anyway, yeah. I enjoyed Samuel Jackson going into his apartment to find Bernie Mac and then basically immediately knocks him out. And then he comes up and is like, what'd you hit me for? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just found you there on the floor. Like, so some of that, some of that stuff I thought was pretty funny. And then I thought the part that really made me laugh was he's like, oh, like I know you got it bad or whatever, and I see dog food in the cabinet over there, and you know there ain't no fucking dog. And then
it's like the dog's under the bed. He just doesn't come out. You're lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought all that stuff with the dog was really funny. And then when he comes back to the door, Samuel Jackson starts barking like a dog to make it sound like he does actually have a dog.
That was all right. Yeah, you're right.
I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah. Let's see. Was there another thing that I thought was funny after that? May he rest in shit, talking about their partner. Then there's them. I can't say it was funny. I was gonna go to let's go to the first show. Yep.
We have fast forwarded like 15 minutes into the movie, past the last thing we already talked about. So
I really laughed out loud at the dog stuff. I really did.
Okay, all right, yeah, you're right. That was pretty good. The only thing I laughed about in the first concert. They have put on their old outfits, costumes, whatever, from when they used to perform.
Which really don't look from the outside to fit that poorly. Right.
Well, the joke is...
They look dated, but...
Right. The joke is, of course, is that Bernie's gotten a little too big. Floyd has gotten too big. So they immediately split the coat in the back as soon as he tries to get out the door. I'm like, okay, well, we did the Tommy Boy joke. We're done.
Yeah,
but
which is magically sewed or whatever and fixed when they're on the show.
Yeah, I guess maybe they use safety pins. I don't know. But surprised me that we went back to the joke that he is too fat for his pants, and one of the buttons pops off and hits a biker in the eye, and it's the sound effect that they chose for the button popping off that got me. It was really stupid. I don't know what, but the ping, just I don't know. I was searching for stuff at this point.
Samuel L. Jackson like literally calls this is going to happen, and it happens.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So which definitely hurt that joke a little bit more. That is basically called out.
Well, I thought they were done after the jacket split. I'm like, okay, they got the fat joke in. We're good here. And I'm like, oh nope, we came back to it. I was like, oh, it got me by surprise. A second one.
Yeah. I think,
and really, it was the stupid sound effect that got me.
Yeah, fair enough. And I don't know, the way he talked to the drunk guy that went on stage. I thought there was a funny line there, but I can't really remember it, so that's not great.
Was it funny enough for you to write down?
Yeah, I remember there was something but yeah, I didn't write it down. So let's move on.
All right, next thing I have is when they meet Jennifer Coolidge. Do you have anything before that?
No. What was there? Did he say a line, something about pulled an Al Green up there when he's asking for an encore or something?
Right,
so
well, yeah, he was given the encore before it was asked for.
Yeah, I guess I didn't understand the reference very well.
Okay,
is that something Al Green's known for or something? Or
I suppose so. I never got to see the man perform.
Yeah, okay. So I was just curious. You might know more than me.
I do enjoy the stylings of Reverend Al Green, but no, I never went to a concert.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I get that this is supposed to be a joke. But yeah, he sees Jennifer Coolidge, and then he takes his Viagra or whatever like that. And I like when he's like, "Don't call me when you got that 4-hour erection."
Yeah.
From Samuel Jackson, that was a funny line.
Well, so Floyd hooks up with Rosalie, played by Jennifer Coolidge, after their show in Amarillo, Texas.
Yeah.
And once Floyd and her start getting it on, they make a really lame joke about her bush. I mean,
yeah,
like straight out of the first Scary Movie. Like, really? We're doing this? This is tired.
Yep.
But then they got me back when she offers to give Floyd a Velveteen rub. And he says yes. And then she takes her teeth out and goes down on him. And Bernie Mac's face, going from absolute horror and revulsion to reluctant pleasure while making this weird high-pitched noise, really got me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I really thought it was weird too when
2 weeks in a row of asking for an obscure sex act, by the way, in her movies.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I thought this was also one of the most notable points too with Bernie Mac and the age thing.
Yeah, she said, "I've never been with someone so old." And I'm like,
yeah, because at first she thinks it's I've never been in something like you. She thinks it's a black thing, but then he goes, "Oh no, that's not it. It's the age thing." And you're like, no, this doesn't. This
Jennifer Coolidge is 3 years younger than Bernie Mac. So I was like,
yeah,
fuck's going on? How old is Bernie Mac's character?
It's really glaring in that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, did you find the stuff with the daughter funny afterwards?
No, but the right stuff right before that I enjoyed. So the next day, Floyd walks out into the balcony in his bathrobe, and he is sporting a massive boner. Yeah. And he greets Lewis, who's on the other balcony next to him, and he tells him he had to take a second Viagra in the middle of the night. The woman's insatiable. I'm shooting dust.
Yeah, I have that one down. Yeah.
Anyway. Because
they're both showing off, or he's showing off. And then
because this movie can't let Bernie Mac come out on top for 1 second.
Yep.
It's revealed that Lewis has been hooking up with a younger, hotter blonde girl.
Daughter, yeah.
And it turns out to be the daughter of the woman that Floyd was hooking up with. And then the husband comes by and starts knocking on the door, and they jump out the balcony and run away. And turns out the girls robbed both of them. Well,
okay, but there was one line from Jennifer Coolidge there as they're running away that I laughed at. That was pretty funny.
Oh, what was it?
Yeah. So they're the mom and the daughter start arguing and going back and forth about how terrible the both of them are or whatever. And then Jennifer Coolidge is, you just shamed the whole family, and then she's chirping back about, oh, but you did this or that or whatever. It's like, no, you shamed the family because you slept with a black man. that made me laugh really hard because obviously she just did as well. So it was just, I don't know. It was really funny.
I was just more confused. I'm like, What?
I thought that was some grade A Jennifer Coolidge line delivery with that one that I thought was really great. The only thing that was a bummer about that is we are seeing this from afar because they're focused on the two main characters. Is like I would have loved to see visually her pull that joke off too. That would have been really great.
I would have also enjoyed more Jennifer Coolidge. I'm not gonna lie.
But it was funny. That was a funny line.
The next time I laughed is the guys have to spend one night in the same bed while visiting Odetta's old house. And during the night, Lewis wakes up and freaks out because Floyd has another massive boner and is poking at his ass. And Floyd is, apologetic. He apparently switched up his cholesterol pill for his Viagra.
Yeah. Oh man, I thought it was for my cholesterol.
And Lewis spent how many years in jail and it's never happened to me. He's like, I need to ask you about that. And this is where I thought okay. I wonder if he actually took that pill or possibly just because. And I didn't make this connection until something that happened later, but I was like, that'd be interesting if that would give him something to do in this movie, some kind of arc, but no.
It's a real bummer because this section of the movie is they're really trying hard to make Lester be funny.
He is terrible.
It's awful. There's literally, I think there's only one line, maybe two, that I end up laughing at.
He's got two for me, and none of them happened while they're inside that house. I mean, there's a lot of time spent in that house with trying to reconnect with Odetta's, who is now passed from cancer. So they are meeting the daughter. All for the first time.
Was a line where Samuel Jackson, who's also well educated and smart too, because he's got so much going for him. Such a shame he was in prison for that long. But anyway, so he quotes T.S. Eliot or something like that, and so the Lester, not being very bright, just starts mocking with things that sound like T.S. Eliot. So he starts chirping back about Missy Elliott and stuff like that. So that kind of made me giggle a little bit. I don't know about giggle. Giggle's too strong. I smirked. There you go.
Boy, you're trying. I appreciate it. So Lewis ends up beating up Cleo's boyfriend, Lester the Jester.
Right.
And this is where it got me. Lester limping away from the house, holding his arm in pain and screaming, I'm going to learn karate and kick your ass. that got me. Oh, yeah. Right. So when Lewis is beating up Lester, right? And he's got his arm behind his back, and he's almost breaking his arm, and he forces him to give Floyd all his money because he's noticed he's been selling drugs. So he's like, whatever, it's not really your money.
Yeah, this is where the money out of the pants come back, and then Bernie Mac's again kind of grossed out by.
But then he sniffs the money because the money's been sitting in his crotch.
Sniff the money.
So I was like, huh. So this is I put that connection and the.
I think it was more I really hope this doesn't smell awful. Kind of deal.
You're probably right, but those two things made me think they didn't happen that far apart. So I'm like, oh, is that what's going on with? Maybe that's why he's so sad, screwing all these women because he doesn't really want to. He's just putting on a show. That would be interesting.
Maybe, but he's not showing off really. The least with the first woman he sleeps with. There's no one there.
Just trying to keep appearances. I don't know,
but
it was still. But I was searching for something. I was desperate.
I got you.
You're desperately trying to laugh at the stuff in this movie, and I'm desperately trying to find.
Yeah.
Character. There's got to be something more here, man.
Right.
But anyway. Boy.
There was hold on. There was one thing a little while back that I thought was good from Floyd. Man, what does it say? Oh, yeah, where he it's when they get to Odetta's house. And he's like, oh no, you didn't, and he's like, we're not doing this kind of deal, and Floyd's like, oh yes, we are kind of deal, and then he goes to hit him, but then Floyd just collapses, but then says it's his heart and he really needs his medicine and all that kind of stuff, and so he's like, which bottle is it? What does it say on the bottle? And then he goes, sucker, motherfucker, and with a big smile, and so that kind of made me laugh a little bit too. It was a few Floyd moments where he gets to have the advantage.
That was the one time. I think in the whole movie where he pulled one over Lewis. I was like,
right, exactly. You're right. Yeah, it's very. Since it was so rare, I wanted to bring that up.
That's fair. Went back a little bit. Fair. No, that's fine. Let's see. Lester comes to the guy's hotel in Memphis because he's going to shoot Lewis in revenge, and
Right.
is warned by a kidnapped Philip. We'll talk about him later. Via car horn of the imminent hit, and when Lewis spots Lester, he runs him over about as gently as one can be run over.
Right.
And Lester, who at this point already has his arm in a brace from when Lewis broke his arm earlier, is even more pain now, and he's whining on the ground. He's like, "Let me kill you at least one time, man."
That's the other part that I got. Yep.
Yeah, that was good.
Yep. And then that was basically it.
Yeah, Lester talks a lot in this movie in his limited screen time, and it's
real sad.
Unless I didn't mention it, it's real bad. It's like not funny at all.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's just that poorly written, or should they have gotten someone better to do this part or something. I don't know what it is, but it just didn't work. It was flat and annoying almost all the time.
Mm-hmm. It felt like this character dropped in as like something to make fun of in "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker," or
Right.
"Don't Be a Menace."
Right.
like this is a weird character. This is cartoonish. This didn't belong here.
Well, and then
so
it
it's
does
kind of
make
annoying.
you wonder, like, what the heck is what's her name?
Cleo
Odeta's
doing with
daughter.
him.
Cleo
Yeah, no, it doesn't
doing
make any
with him.
sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. And they have a throwaway line to kind of explain it.
He was
which
there
is like,
for her when her mom was dying.
yeah, she was there when Odetta had cancer. He was there, and it's like, all right, this is weak. That's pretty weak.
Okay.
Because clearly he's abusive, he hits, he deals drugs, he's an awful rapper. Like there's a lot of negatives there. So I don't know.
Yeah. Next thing that made me laugh is they say motherfucker a lot, but they're really good guys.
And you know what's sad? It is the only time that character made me laugh.
That is correct.
That is it.
Yeah.
And they tried so hard to make this guy funny, and it is flat and terrible the whole time. When did Accepted come out?
Before this, I think. Yeah, I was
Was it?
I was trying to figure out, like, is this guy this bad, or is this just a character as written? Because what the hell?
I'm wondering. It's like,
yeah, Accepted came out 2 years before this.
So Accepted was kind of a thing. I said kind of.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You give me a look. It was kind of a thing. And I'm wondering if it was just like, hey, this guy was funny in that movie, and but gave him nothing to work with, or was he bad? I don't know again there either, because he has some funny things to do in Accepted, I guess. So it's just it's rough.
Yep,
it's real bad, and especially with the "I'm the manager" joke that they
saving
go
that.
for.
I'm saving that one for later when we go into characters because it's something to talk about.
Yeah,
I'm trying to concentrate on the positive. I only have one more thing that I laughed at in this movie.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, but I'm looking at my notes and yep.
So Floyd and Lewis are wanted by the police at one point, and when Philip, who is, I'll quickly say he's like the music label's intern that they've sent to go and deal with Floyd and Lewis. Anyway, he calls into his boss, Danny, and he's told, Danny tells him they're off the tribute show. They're out. And Philip is outraged. Like, they can't do that. And Danny's like, oh, really? It's VH1. Have you seen Flavor of Love? They can pretty much do anything they want. And I laughed, I think, to hide the pain of how awfully old the sentence made me feel.
Yeah. And then that I agree, and I laughed at that moment, and I didn't laugh because of how old that made me. I did eventually kind of come back to that of like, oh no, man, a VH1 joke, pretty dated.
Flavor of Love. It's like, oh man.
My initial reaction of disappointment after the joke made me laugh is, Sean Hayes, I'm sorry.
Oh well, yeah. I mean,
that this was it. This is all you got to really do was just this, because he was in other parts earlier in the movie, and this was the only time he was basically allowed to be funny.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Waste of a talent. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's a real, and it's like, man, like he's a he's funny. Why isn't he in this movie more? Mike Epps, you're funny. Why aren't you in this movie more? And it's
Jennifer Coolidge. Why have we
yeah,
get rid of her?
like we focused on the wrong stuff here at times to help.
That's
lift
what I've
this
been
movie.
saying.
Yeah.
I got nothing else to say about funny, because that's all I got. If you have anything more, please go ahead.
Let me think here. I guess there was one time where he thought he was dying and he's trying to get him pills, and then there was a little delivery of calling him Dr. Dumb Shit that kind of made me laugh. That was it.
Okay.
Dr. Dumb Shit was the last one. Yep.
Yeah. I gave it a 3.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah. I was prepared to go down.
We're pretty close
To be
now.
honest. I thought you were going to go down, and I was like, if he goes lower, I could go lower. But yeah, I had 3 as well.
Well, like you said, I mean, like, a lot of the charm of this movie is the delivery of these two main characters, these two great actors.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it's a fine movie. I wish it had tried harder and leaned into the comedy more,
Right.
because it seems way more interested in the melodrama at times. And I'm like, it's not what I'm here for. It's not what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And that stuff's fine. I think that's also like feels like first pass. Like we just kind of like, and
Right.
yeah,
This is the gist. And yeah.
you've seen this a million times. Like, yes, I have.
Yeah.
The real treat for you is you get to watch Bernie Mac and Samuel L. Jackson do it. I'm like, okay.
Right. Like, 'cause again, them cursing at each other, other people, and just their delivery of it is the crux of almost the entirety of the humor. And there's only so much you can kind of get away with that without there being different kinds of things, change it up, something with the humor or the way you're delivering humor. And it was really repetitive after a while.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Supporting characters. Cleo is played by Sharon Leal, and she's so pretty.
She's very pretty.
Whew.
She's got a nice voice.
I remember her as the stupid hot English/music teacher on Boston Public back in the day.
Oh, wow. That's going back.
Yeah, right?
Jeez, I don't even remember that. Okay.
She does not get much to do in this movie at all, besides look sad,
No.
angry, and sing.
Yeah. There's like one time where she tells Lester to shut the F up or something. That was kind of funny the way she said it, and that was about it for me.
I mean, there's nothing for her to even... She's there as the straight woman. Luckily, she's a great singer.
And she's just very appreciative and very forgiving.
Yeah, she's a great singer, so we get to hear that. And almost would have rather had more of that than half the Lester scenes. Definitely would have actually rather had more of her singing than having to listen to Lester anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Phil is an intern from the record company.
Yep.
He's a real deal super fan and has been put in charge of helping them get across the country. He eventually
took out his parents' life savings to help them.
Yeah. He eventually meets them in Memphis, and where he gets the guys new clothes and a ridiculous outfit for himself.
Yep.
Samuel Jackson is just like, where'd you go? Like, build a pimp or whatever?
Yeah.
He's a lazy written, annoying character.
Yep.
Who says stuff like, I haven't been laid since Friends was on TV, so this is going to be my night.
Yep.
And then the worst of the worst, the one Tim was alluding to earlier.
Yep.
Do you want to do it or you want me to do it?
No, I don't. I get angry thinking about this character. I honestly, the most annoyed I got is probably when they find him in the trunk, mostly naked, and you're thinking like, okay, here's got to be something. Something's got to come out of this, and it's just, you know, a half naked man wanting a hug and not realizing the situation, and none of this was funny.
His tidy whities have turned into a thong in the back, and he's still wearing his pimp hat.
He's bending over, and it's just, this isn't, who do you think you are? Will Ferrell? Like, this doesn't work. Like, I don't.
Yeah. So, like, the only, this is the only, the line
I'm the manager.
really hurt me is, I'm with the band. It's a dream.
Yep.
It's a total dream. I play the harmonica.
Yeah, I wrote that down, and I also put that hurt.
I had to take the dog for a walk. I had to pause the movie and take the dog for a walk. Let's just like walk that off.
That was rough.
Sucks.
Yeah. He is. It's crazy because as soon as you think Lester's the worst, Philip really starts coming raging in. And you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, Lester's the only one else I had written up, and we already talked enough about him. So
yeah, I mean, I put the Danny Epstein character in, and I also put Dwayne, Mike Epps' character. So I put Sean Hayes and Mike Epps in this slot as well to kind of help out the side characters, even though they're not really given a whole lot to do, but they do shine a little bit when they are given something. And then I put John Legend in this character too, just because the novelty of John Legend in this role that I wish was more. Yeah.
What'd you get? What was your score?
I went 2.
1 for me.
That's fair. That's fair. I went with a total of 8.
It is a 6.5 for me.
Yeah. I still. So 6.5. So yeah, I don't know how you have. No, there's no way. This movie is way more entertaining than War Inc. War Inc. is real upsetting and real bad. And just the two of them cursing at each other and their jokes was still more fun for me than Sex and the City.
This is okay. I disagree entirely on Sex and the City, but on War Inc. This is a better movie than War Inc. I would definitely quickly recommend this movie over War Inc. anytime. But as far as made me laugh, War Inc. slightly more, and not by a whole lot. I mean, it's. Neither of these are going to be anywhere near the top 5.
No,
so
I
have a feeling these, and considering what I've seen on our list here, I have a feeling they both won't be in the bottom. There's one I'm really worried about later on in the season.
I don't know. Yeah, we feel differently. Like you have War Inc. Like weird. I don't know. I mean, I have it bottom. You have second from the bottom, but
yeah, this is why I'm kind of like rolling my eyes at you getting so angry with this. By the way, I still have.
I can't believe you enjoyed Sex and the City more. I don't know.
The Sex and the City movie is fine. It's there's some funny stuff, and
I laughed. I probably laughed more at this movie than Sex and the City.
I have this movie rated higher than you do versus War Inc. and Sex and the City. So, despite you being angry with my score here,
yeah, I have War Inc. and Sex and the City tied at 6.
Yeah, so there.
So I'm just saying. I think Soul Man. I laughed more. I did. It was a funnier movie, I think.
So this movie had a budget of $40 million, supposedly. That's when I caught on, I think, Wikipedia or something. Worldwide gross of a little over $12.3 million. It debuted at number 6 on its opening weekend, losing to Madagascar 2, Escape to Africa in its first weekend release, which Bernie Mac provided a voice for.
Okay.
It lost to Role Models in its first weekend.
Fair.
High School Musical 3 in its second.
Oof, that hurts.
Changeling in its 5th weekend. And Zack and Miri
one
with Angelina Jolie.
The kid. Got it. Yeah.
And Zack and Miri Make a Porno in its 3rd weekend release. Also beat out Soul Men.
Wow.
So from what I read a little bit too, it sounds like the director and Samuel L. Jackson did not get along whatsoever.
Oh, really?
He claimed that Samuel L. Jackson is harder on black directors.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know if that's actually true or not.
Yeah.
But something wasn't working. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are we watching next week, Tim?
So, we are going to watch Sunshine Cleaning.
Oh, cool. Never seen that.
I saw it once back in the day, but I am definitely curious to revisit because
it's Amy Adams and Steve Zahn, right?
Amy Adams, Steve Zahn, and I think Emily Blunt.
Oh, well, word. Emily Blunt, too. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think she's kind of like the partner in crime, so to speak. No pun intended, I guess.
No, they're crime scene cleaners, right? That's like the plot of the
Right.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. She's needing money, and that's kind of the thing she ends up turning or falling into, kind of sort of speak. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more drama with your comedy.
Right.
So it's definitely not going to be like rolling probably in the laughs. I guess maybe a little bit closer to the whackness, maybe.
Right.
But yeah,
Well,
I remember liking it.
Okay.
I don't know.
This movie is streaming on Freevee. It's on the cock.
Oh, all right.
Pluto, Prime, the Roku channel, Tribeca Shortlist, and Tubi.
Oh, so it's very available.
It's
All right.
very available. You got no excuse not to watch unless you've seen it before and you just don't want to. So yeah, cool.
All right. That is it for us. Please show your support for the podcast by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, or wherever you happen to listen to the show. Also, sharing is caring. Be sure to follow us on social media to get the latest show updates. You can contact us by emailing at filmbrochamp@gmail.com or find us by searching for the hashtag FilmBroChamp. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Film Bro Championship Podcast. Peace out, everyone.
They say motherfucker a lot, but they're really good.